Angel Reese just compared herself to Michael Jordan. Let that sink in. The same player putting up 4-point games and airballing layups looked at her career and said, "Yeah, that's Jordan-level greatness." Stephen A. Smith heard that and absolutely lost it on national TV. And honestly, he wasn't wrong to, because here's the thing. Jordan didn't just talk about being the greatest. He moved the needle. He built the NBA into a global machine. Sound familiar? Because one player in the WNBA is actually doing exactly that right now. And her name isn't Angel Reese. Oh, you think Reese is delusional? Let me know down in the comments below. So here's what actually happened. Angel Reese wasn't just casually dropping Michael Jordan's name in some random interview. She was promoting her Reebok signature shoe, and she said, straight up, people are going to be wearing Reebok everywhere, just like how they wear Jordans everywhere. I want people to wear the Angel Reese ones everywhere, as I'm the Jordan of my generation. That's not a hint. That's a full comparison. And Stephen A. Smith caught every single word of it. Picture this. You're watching First Take, and Smith is sitting there, and someone brings up that quote. Then someone reminds him that Reese had just scored 4 points against the Indiana Fever. 4 points. Smith didn't even need to work hard to make his case. The numbers did it for him. He called the comparison delusional. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that word when you're looking at a 4-point game sitting right next to a Jordan reference. But Smith didn't just stop at the stat line. That's what made his take actually land. He went deeper than the box score. He talked about what Jordan's name actually means, and why it means that Jordan filled arenas. Jordan took Nike from a running shoe company and turned it into a global empire. Jordan made casual fans into obsessed fans. And he did all of that by backing it up every single night on the floor. Not just in press runs and shoe campaigns. Here's where it gets interesting. Smith basically used Reese's own branding ambition to make the argument against her. Because the Jordan comparison only works if you're doing what Jordan actually did. And what Jordan did was drag the whole league forward with him. Every arena he walked into was packed. Every game he played moved the business of basketball forward. That's the standard the name carries. So when you put your shoe next to his name, you're also putting your performance next to his performance. And that's where Reese's argument completely fell apart. Let's talk about what Smith was really doing here. Because it wasn't just a takedown for the sake of television. Smith was drawing a line. He was saying the Jordan label has a price, and that price is dominance, consistency, and real cultural impact. Not controversy. Not headlines. Actual results that make the whole sport bigger. And once he drew that line, the conversation had to go somewhere. Because if Reese isn't the one doing the Jordan thing in the WNBA right now, then who is? Smith didn't leave that question hanging for long. He pointed directly at a player who's been selling out arenas, breaking TV records, and landing deals that nobody in women's basketball has ever touched before. And she's wearing Indiana Fever red. Caitlin Clark. So let's actually talk about what moving the needle looks like in real numbers. Clark's rookie season broke the WNBA's all-time single-season attendance record. TV viewership for Fever games pulled numbers the league had never seen before. The new media deal the WNBA landed, the one worth over $2 billion, had Clark's name written all over it, in everything but ink. The league was growing before she got there, sure, but the curve bent hard the moment she stepped onto a professional court. Picture this. It's 1988, and Michael Jordan is turning the NBA into something the whole world wants to watch. Casual fans became obsessed fans. International audiences started caring about Chicago. Nike went from a running shoe brand to a cultural institution, because Jordan was wearing their stuff. He didn't just play basketball. He made basketball something bigger than the sport itself. Clark is running that exact same play right now, just in a different league and a different era. And then there's Tiger Woods. Because Tiger isn't just a golf comparison people throw around loosely. Woods made golf must-watch television for people who had never picked up a club in their lives. Sunday afternoons in the late 1990s and early 2000s, people who couldn't tell you what a birdie was were planted in front of their TVs because Tiger was playing. Clark is doing that same thing for the WNBA. People who have never watched a women's basketball game are setting phone reminders for fever tip-offs. That's not a small thing. That's a genuine cultural shift happening in real time. Here's where it gets interesting. Because the endorsement side of Clark's story is where the business world starts talking louder than the sports world. Clark is the first female athlete ever to endorse State Farm. Not the first WNBA player, but the first female athlete, period, in the company's entire history. She has a Wilson Signature sporting goods line, and that's the first Wilson Signature line since Michael Jordan. Her Nike deal is the largest endorsement deal in WNBA history. And now she's added a record-breaking Gatorade deal on top of all of that. But that's not all. The LPGA partnership is the one that really shows you how wide her brand has spread. She's not just a basketball name anymore. She's a sports figure that crosses into golf, into fashion, and into everyday consumer culture. Brands in completely different industries are coming to her because her audience follows her everywhere. So when Stephen A. Smith points at Clark as the real needle mover, he's not doing television drama. He's just reading the data out loud. The attendance sheets, the TV ratings, the sponsorship portfolios, they all tell the same story. The Jordan and Tiger comparisons stick, not because of championship rings yet, but because Clark is pulling people in who had no reason to care before she showed up. This didn't start with a shoe campaign and a Jordan comparison. Go back to April 2023, the NCAA championship game, LSU versus Iowa. Clark had just carried Iowa to the title game, and Angel Reese got in her face with the "you can't see me" gesture, waving her hand in front of Clark's eyes right there on the court. The cameras caught all of it. The internet exploded, and Reese leaned into every second of that attention. Now here's the thing, that moment wasn't just a taunt. It became the foundation Reese built her whole brand on. Controversy over performance, headlines over box scores. And that might work for a while, but it also means every single thing you do after that gets measured against that same energy. So when Clark started getting bigger crowds, bigger deals, and bigger headlines, people were already watching to see how Reese would respond. And the response was always the same. Clark gets buzz around a record TV deal. Reese pops up with a comment or a provocative marketing push. Clark lands a major sponsor. Reese finds a way to make noise. It's been reactive from day one. There's no moment where Reese just put her head down and let her game do the talking. Because the game wasn't doing enough talking on its own, let's talk about the Chicago Sky drama. Because that fits this exact same pattern. Instead of just going out and bawling and proving her value, Reese went public with frustration about her team's roster decisions. She called out the front office publicly. And look, players have legitimate gripes sometimes, right? But there's a way to handle that internally, and there's a way that gets you headlines. Reese picked the headlines every time. Here's where it gets interesting. That strategy has a short shelf life. Clicks are not the same thing as credibility. Sponsors are not scrolling Twitter, looking for controversy to invest in. They are watching the full picture. Every public complaint gets logged. Every beef, every call-out, every moment where you make yourself the story for the wrong reasons. All of it builds in. What she hasn't been given yet. The Jordan comparison wasn't random. It came from 2 years of watching Clark get the recognition Reese wanted. The covers, the deals, the sold-out arenas. And not being able to close the gap where it actually counts, which is on the floor. So she tried to close it in a shoe promo instead. While Reese is out here comparing herself to Jordan, her signature Reebok shoe is sitting in bargain bins. Not flying off shelves, not selling out in minutes, sitting there marked down, waiting for someone to pick it up. And that shoe has been on the market for months now. Picture this. The Reebok deal was supposed to be Reese's big proof of concept. Her own shoe, her own line, her name on a product that fans would actually go out and buy. That's how you show the market your star power is real. That's how you back up the brand you've been building since that 2023 championship game. Instead, the shoe underperformed badly enough that Reebok has already quietly pulled back on marketing it. No big announcement, no drama, just the campaign stopped. And in the brand world, that silence is loud. Here's what that actually means. When a company stops pushing a product, it's not because things are going great. Reebok put money behind that shoe, and the consumer didn't respond the way they needed. Now there are real questions inside Reebok about where this partnership goes long-term. That's a massive shift from where things were when the deal first got announced, and everyone was treating it like a huge moment for Reese's brand. Here's where it gets interesting. On the other side of this, Nike is doing the exact opposite with Clark. They are not pulling back, they are ramping up. More products, more campaigns, more visibility, and more investment heading into 2026. Clark's Nike deal is already the highest endorsement deal in WNBA history, and Nike keeps building around it. The gap between how these two brands are treating their athletes right now is genuinely striking. And the reason isn't just basketball performance. Sponsors aren't only buying stats. They are buying how fans feel when they see that athlete's face on a product. They are buying reputation. They are buying the full picture. And the full picture of Reese includes front office drama, public complaints, constant controversy, and the toxic energy that has followed her throughout the season. All of that factors into whether a regular person wants to pull out their wallet and buy your shoe. But that's not all. Clark's products aren't just selling. They are projected to sell out in minutes when they drop. Minutes. Reese's shoe couldn't move units after months on the market. That's not just a gap. That's a completely different universe of consumer demand. Brands talk to each other. They watch each other's moves. When Reebok starts going quiet on an athlete, other companies around the league notice. They adjust their thinking. Reese's image problem has moved well past being a social media headache. It's now showing up directly in sales numbers and marketing budgets. And that's the kind of problem that doesn't just go away. S.O. Clark walks into her NBA on NBC analyst debut, and someone asks about the WNBA CBA situation. Instead of dodging it or turning it into a complaint session, she simply says she believes a deal gets done. Simple as that. Confident, calm, forward-looking, on a national NBC platform in front of an NBA audience that's 10 times the size of anything the WNBA normally reaches. Here's why that actually matters. The CBA negotiations are genuinely high stakes right now. Players want better pay, better travel conditions, and better investment from the league, all completely legitimate. But the way players talk about it publicly shapes how the story gets told. Are we watching a league that's about to break through to the next level? Or are we watching a league that's falling apart from the inside? Clark answered that question clearly, and she answered it in the right room. Here's where the contrast with other players is striking. While Clark is projecting confidence about the league's future on NBC, players like Reese have been spending their public platform on roster complaints and front office frustration. That's not a good look when the league is trying to sell a vision of growth to sponsors and TV partners who are deciding right now how much to invest. And those sponsors and TV partners are absolutely paying attention. A player who sounds like she's building something gives them a reason to stay. A player who sounds like she's collecting grievances gives them a reason to look somewhere else. Clark is out there talking like a league builder, and that's exactly the energy the WNBA needs attached to its biggest name right now. But that's not all. Beyond the CBA, the actual basketball outlook for the Fever in 2026 is genuinely exciting. Clark alongside Lexi Hull, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Sophie Cunningham. That's a real roster. That's a group that can compete at a high level, not just draw cameras. Last season showed what that core is capable of, even with Clark dealing with injuries and the team still figuring things out. Another full year together, a healthy Clark from tip-off, and that group gets dangerous fast. The optimism around Indiana isn't just fan hype. It's grounded in real things. The chemistry that group built, the defensive toughness Hull and Cunningham bring, the inside presence Boston provides, and Mitchell's ability to create off the dribble. Surround all of that with a healthy Clark running the offense, and the Fever aren't just must-watch TV anymore. They are a legitimate championship conversation team, heading into 2026. Here's the verdict. Clark has a record Nike deal, a record Gatorade deal, a Wilson signature line, a State Farm partnership, and products projected to sell out in minutes. Reese has a shoe sitting in a bargain bin, with Reebok quietly pulling all the marketing behind it. And now there's real speculation that Reebok might drop her entirely. The market didn't need Stephen A. Smith to make this call. It already made it on its WNBA Oh, you think Reese is delusional? Let me know down in the comments below, and show your support for Caitlyn. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.